So what we're doing here today is we are going to have a walkthrough video of the new enhancements made to the Hanby Environmental Mobile application to complement our field test kits for water and soil analysis. So the first thing you would do is obviously go through our web portal online at www.hanby, mobile, M-O-B-I-L-E, app.com. So Hanby Mobile App with two P's.com. You would obtain a subscription there by creating an admin, and then you would obtain a subscription, and then the user would download the mobile application to their phone, in which case I've already done here. So then once you've done that, you would open the mobile application by opening the icon. Once you come to this entry screen here, there's options where you could change your password, you can amend your profile, that type of thing. But we're going to go back to the home screen. The home screen here, first thing you see new analysis and past analysis. So if you're going to do a new analysis, obviously you select new analysis. This is a new feature that we recently added here. The first thing you would do here is you would create a folder for a project name or whatnot, or you would select an existing folder. So in this case, I'm going to select this existing folder I've created and hit the next button. Once you've done that, you got your instructions right here telling you to do a preliminary judgment call. A preliminary judgment call is taking a photo of your analyzed test tube against the calibration photo and place the test tube in between the best estimated calibrations within that photo. So we've already done that, and what I recommend is when you do this, you sit right here, you can either do this live using the camera on your phone, in which case you will not have the images stored in your camera roll on your phone. So I don't ever recommend using the camera live on your phone. I always recommend taking the pictures of your preliminary judgment call as well as your analyzed result sample with your phone and have them stored on your phone, and then you access them here through the Photos tab. So we've done this already, so I'm going to go into my camera roll, and I'm going to say this is my preliminary judgment call right here, so I'm going to select it. Preliminary judgment call is taking the sample analyzed against the calibration photo and placing it near or between the calibrations that you think is the best fit. So once you've done that, you hit choose or next, choose that photo, and then you hit the next button. Now it says take your result against a white background, which I've already also done. So instead of doing that here with the camera live, which I don't recommend, I'm going to go to where I've already stored it in my camera roll and select that photo, which is here. When you select that photo, notice the cropping grid has come up. What we want to do is bring in the sides of the grid within the edges. So we don't want the edges of the test tube. That means the right, left, or bottom of that glass there. The curvature of the glass can cause shadows. So we're going to bring that grid in here, the cropping grid. We only want to get this colored catalyst at the bottom that's accumulated at the bottom of the test tube. So we're bringing in the grid within those outside right, left, and bottom edges. And also, you notice I brought it down from the top. We want to bring it down because the accumulated catalyst, colored catalyst here in the test tube could be uneven. So we want to bring it down so that we're below that unevened portion. Notice there's a black speck over here, and also notice sometimes it's a little bit darker over here and lighter over here. All that's going to be averaged out in our calculation, so it's no big deal. So notice I've got the cropping grid within the right, left, bottom of the sides of the curvatures of the test tube, and then I brought down the top from the uneven accumulated catalyst in our picture. So now I've got that cropped image exactly what I want, so I hit done, then I hit next. Once I hit next, it's asking me, did you analyze a soil sample or a water sample? Well, in this sample that I'm showing you, I did a soil sample, so I'm going to select soil. Here's where you can report, you type in whatever report name you want, so I'm going to call it demo or app demo. So you name your report whatever you want, or your analyzed sample whatever you want. We've done that. Then in the case of soil, there's two ranges. There's a high range and a low range. So it asks you which range did you use. So in this case, we used a low range. Also, it asked you, did you use a known contaminant or an unknown contaminant? So in this case, we did a known contaminant, so I'm going to select that. Then Once you do that, you go to your contaminant list here, and what we knew in this particular photo that I used was a diesel. So we're going to select diesel as our contaminant type, and then we're going to hit get results. Once we hit get results, it's going to display the results here in descending order. Notice here at the top it says 100% match, and it calculated the number, the concentration number here is 530. That top number there is the app calculated number of the concentration of that particular thing. And descending beneath that, it says at a 97% match, the closest calibration in that diesel calibration photo it could match it to was 500. Then a 71% match, the next closest calibration was 200. So this is just documentation of where this calculated number came from. So the app calculated the concentration to be 530, so we select that. Also down here, you'll notice there's a place for field notes. You can type in whatever you want, weather conditions or whatnot about your sample analysis. Once you've done that, you just hit generate report. And once that report is successfully generated, we're going to get a successfully generated report message. Down here at the bottom says app. So then what do we do if we want to retrieve that report? We go here to past analysis instead of new analysis, and it lists all of them. Also, notice this is the all category, all folder. Remember earlier we put it in the OMG Solutions test folder, so we can open that one, and boom, there it is at the top. So either way, however you want to access it, if you want to shrink the list down or not, it's right there. So here's our report that we generated. There's our calibration. Here's our result, the 530. So once you do there is once you want to share this report, you just go to these three dots here in the right corner, and it asks you how do you want to share it. Do you want to share it by text message, email, social media, however you want to share it. So you can just go like this. So we'll say we want to share it to ourselves as a text message. And then you hit send, and it will send it to you in a text message. Also, I want to back out here, and so go back to that initial home screen again, where it was, new analysis or past analysis. Again, we select past analysis, and here's a listing of all our past analyses that we've done. Notice that since that was a soil analysis, it's right there. It's got an icon that says soil, versus if we did a water analysis, the icon would look more like this, which is a water analysis. So, I want to go back to my camera roll real fast to show you guys. Just want to show you an example of remember, so this is what we just used. This was our preliminary judgment call photo. There was our sample image against a white background. I want to focus in on the fact that, the question comes to light. This appears just slightly darker than it really is. What you want to do is you want to take it, when you take that picture, and make sure that you angle it such that you get that nice and illuminated by whatever your light source is. It's best in natural light, but it's no problem using fluorescent light within or inside lighting is not a problem. Also, if you happen to be in a scenario where you're outside and it's dark, there's no problem using the flash. All you'll do is you'll get a white glare against one of the edges of the glass there, and if you can crop around it, great. If you can't, no big deal, because it's going to be averaged out anyway. And over here, I want to show you from that particular photo right there, when we did our crop, this is the grid. Notice the grid that I'm talking about, the cropping grid. Notice that we came inside the bottom, and from the right and left edges of the test tube, we brought it in, and then we also, here's that accumulated catalyst I was talking about that's uneven up there. We brought it down from there. So we got a nice cropped area here that we want to use for our calculation. This is I just wanted to show you what happens when you get that link that we text ourselves. Here's the link of the report that we sent ourselves. All you do is once you receive that link like that, you just click on that link, and it opens up your PDF report. So here's our PDF report, that we named. Here's our concentration calculation. Again, so it's a PDF report that's instantly shareable and is also stored for future reference as well. It's stored right here in your past analysis, right there. So we could share it again or whatever just by going to those dots. So back into the just quickly going back into the mobile application real fast because I wanted to kind of give you some other hints on the use here. So let's just select some things real fast. Same selections we made earlier. I'll come in here and crop this, why not, just for fun. Remember, that's a good crop there. I wanted to get into this portion of it. Notice again, water over here versus soil. We did over there, water doesn't have a low and high range, only soil does. Likewise, let's just do the same thing again. Soil, we'll call this app demo 2. And it's a high range. No, it's a low range. Low range. And before we selected known contaminant, this time I want to select unknown contaminant and show you what happens. When you select unknown, basically you're taking the entire database list and you're saying, I don't know what it is, so I don't know that it's diesel. And you're going to say get result. And the app is actually color matching and reducing, based on the color of your result, reducing the selection of contaminants down to what matches the color. Now you're not getting as an accurate result here when it does that because you're not getting a calculation. What you're getting is you're getting a color match. So it's not actually calculating the concentration, which I'm actually going to be doing in a future enhancement. I'm going to change that. But in this case, you've got a selection list here of pH, compounds, crude oil, West Texas crude, waste oil, JP5, diesel, and fuel oil. And notice they all have nice even numbers. So what does it say? Remember earlier when we said diesel at 500 was the closest match that it could match it to, and it actually ended up calculating it at 530. But this is where, when it's an unknown, you're only saying, hey, go color match this to the different calibrations in the database and tell me what are the best selection choices. So you're not going to get as an accurate answer because it's only matching the calibrations that are in that database. So remember where we said it was like a 98% match for 500 diesel, but the app calculated it and said it was actually 530. So in this case, you could move forward with selecting diesel there. You're basically saying, okay, user, you're the most knowledgeable of this sample that's been analyzed. These are the color matchings that we came up with. What makes most sense to you? Well, you could probably smell the diesel and know it was diesel. So what I typically actually do, because I want a more accurate number, is I'll do this unknown if it's an unknown sample, and I'll let this kind of guide me as to which selection choice I should use. In this case, I said, okay, well let's do diesel, and you can either go with that and say it's 500, or once I've determined that the diesel is the best selection for me, I'll back out of it instead of doing an unknown, and now I'll do a known, and I'll go in there and select diesel, and then do a calculation. And this way you're getting a more accurate calculated number. Oddly enough, in this case, because of the way I cropped it slightly different, instead of 530, it actually says, notice there the 100% 500 and the 72 at 200, but it actually says 100% at 500. So based on a slightly different crop than we did before, we got a slightly different calculation. But anyway, I will use the unknown. If it's an unknown sample, I'll use the unknown as a guide to shrink down the list of possible contaminants. Then I'll choose which contaminant I should use and go back and use the known function to actually get a calculated number versus a matched calibration number. A matched calibration number is going to be an even number like 500, 200, 1,000, 150 versus getting a calculated number as we did before at the 530 right here. It actually calculated the calculation number for us. So that's an overview of the recent enhancements to the app. Before we had the selection choice as being at the bottom of that list, the calculated number, but we've moved that to the top and changed it, so it shows 100% match, and that's the selection that should be used. So that's an overview of the new enhancements to our app. Like I said before, that first section right here, this is new as well, where you either create a folder or you select an existing folder. That's a new enhancement from where our app was before. We'll continue to make new enhancements to our app. Thank you for tuning in, and see you soon.